Hello, Sagittarius. Welcome to a timeless reading of yours. What most likely brought you in is the title of this reading. It is titled in one way or another as Justice for Sagittarius. This may mean whatever it desires itself to represent itself as, okay? This is a tarot intuitive insight. This is not a one-to-one reading, so bear in mind what content you are clicking in and participatory in and whose channel it is more or less tied to. Okay, I'm saying that because I am seventh that reads these energies for you on the channel of Sekhmet. If you have any sort of relationship with Sekhmet, knowing or unknowing, it is more or less the energies of justice, which isn't going to be very tasteful for some, or might be exciting for others. Point is, the emotional triggering is of no interest of concern in this reading. It is for clarity purposes and however it wants to show up in the resonancy of doing so. Please utilize that information with discretion as long as you're listening to the rest of the reading, okay? All right, so as I get ready for the reading, please know a couple things about me. I am Master Seventh, aka Seventh again, that reads these energies for you. All right. If you want to know who she is, what she's all about, what I have to offer, there's information in the description box below. For a little bit of clarity, I am a master healer that provides remote wellness services and a tarot intuitive insight reader. All right. And a few more things, because I am loving the lack of loving for these justice readings, and it tickles the fancying of Sekhmet energy, of which I am also participatory reader of and for, and yeah, seeing the ripple effect of emotions is exactly why she has her duties. Okay, now, please remember this is not a one-to-one reading, okay? You did not disclose a one-to-one personal reading. You are, however, pointing into and attentive towards a collective insight of messages. How these information pertain to you is however your discernment decides to take the messages as you, again, listen to the entirety or bits and parts of the reading. Feminine and masculine energies are non-gender specific, so that means femininity has both feminine and masculinity has both feminine and masculine. All right, it's Justice for Sagittarius. This is however this applies to you, whether you are wherever you are in knowing what it means to have clicked onto this reading. All right, so we're starting with Six of Swords. Okay, so Swords energy is like out of sorts energy, okay? Like you don't know if you can trust what it is that you're in. However, because it has this part of ambiguity, you don't know if it can be exact on an emotion because it's logic, okay? Now, logic, again, doesn't necessarily mean that it's on a path of righteousness just because it's logic, okay? Like, yeah, the sky is blue, but that's the logical answer. If we have a bit more pragmaticism to it, we might all get to eventual point of view that blue is just a reflection, so you can't really see blue. So it's like, why are you doing this to my brain? Okay, so anyway, what this just means is that although you probably could have a conversation, doesn't mean that you really want to have a conversation. Nah, I'm here, that's for the fucking birds. Fuck off. I don't want to hear a conversation. I don't want to do this. And it's kind of like the ego is saying, no. Like the middle finger is flying up. You know, it's, no, bye. I love what I love. And I love what loves me back for loving me the way I love myself. And if I don't have that, I love me the way I love myself. And I expect everyone else to love me the way that I love myself. And that's the fiery, contagious energy of personality that attracts those who fucks with that ego energy of Sag. How merciful that is for you is however you are uncomfortable with who you are when you're alone. Do you need people to fill that void? Or do you escape yourself in a moment of being alone by reaching out and texting other people because you need to fulfill a void? that's showing signs of codependency. And I think that's where you're like, nah, I don't want to have that conversation. It's one of those as well. It's like, I don't want to talk that. I'm not ready for that. Maybe you're right. Maybe a little. Who knows? It's not personal. It is personal. What it does, however, also mean is that just because it can be authentically pure and authentically truthful and authentically honest, it doesn't feel great. It feels awful to a lot of this energy. It's like, oh, I don't want to talk about it because it feels awful. Like, I don't want to talk about and put more energy into shit that I know is awful. And so you're moving with that ambiguous, not understanding what the emotion is trying to tell you, but you're definitely leaning towards the thrill of like, all right, I mean, everything about me is telling me not to go left, but my body is pushing me to go left. I don't want to go left, but my body is telling me to go left. And you're going left, and you're like, how the fuck did I get here when I didn't want to have my ego? I'm tired of myself, you know? And the soul knows when it's tired of itself. So it's like, hey, what's up? Yeah, you remember me? Yeah, I had to pivot you a little bit, you know, blee, 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 blee. And you're like, no, they don't know me. It's very childlike. It doesn't want to be very mature. And that's the lovable part. You don't need to be more mature. You're as mature as you need to be for the moment of maturity. Congratulations. No, seriously. Yeah, that's okay. Wherever you are. Beautiful. You fucked up a little bit? Ability to change that shit. Do you want to be that same version tomorrow? Some of you are like, oh no. Oh no. I do not want to be that. What can I do? Make it personal, please. Tell me what to do. Give me the list. And some of you are so ready and excited to participate in that. And I love that. You have the answer for yourself, though. You don't need me. Bye. Toodles. See you later. Just turning on the light. That's a little zhuzh of bitterness. English in these readings. All right. So, what is it that you want? Some of y'all don't know where this justice needs to make its shape to. All right? You just don't know. And I'm going to say look closer at the swords that are in your baggage of this journey. And then figure out if they're weighing your boat down or not. As in, are they causing where the subject matters? Who are they if they are an individual? You know, what is the trauma? Why are they there? Why is that subject there? Is that subject leaving pinholes and then the canoe is sinking because it has holes of which you cannot see and you're just trying to scurry over to land real quick before you all drown? You know? But there is something fishy in a situation that you realize is like a mini form of salvation happening, but because it's mini salvation, it's so foreign in your world that you're like, nah, I don't trust it. Nah, I don't wanna. It's like you almost have the potentiality to almost not believe that if I were to say what you think is fishy is actually a beautiful thing, and you're like, nah, that's not true. It's fishy. Like, no, it's not fishy. No, it's fishy. It's not everything that is could go wrong, will go wrong, everything having to do with that subject, so it's fishy. It's like a little sassy. It's like, no. But then get you off in the private side, you'll be like, yeah, I really want to talk about it. So it's endearing, but it's like, come on, at the same time. It's like, I don't know how to explain this. This is exhausting. It's like you just need a hand to be held, your hand to be held for a few minutes. You know, just love me, energy. Just love me. Just love me, and that's all I need. Be my energy starter pack. You know, when I'm feeling like I'm thinking that I'm a little out of energy, I just come move my butt to you and you charge me right up. It's like, boop, bzz, you know. And some of y'all have this energy of focus in your world, and some of y'all are like living a life. Both are true in the same reality in this collective energy, that you don't have this energy and you're like, fuck off. I don't have this shit around. I've been hearing for echelons that it could be around, or the situationship is a situationship. So, yeah, there's something in the baggage. I don't know what to do. And although it can be endearing, and it is also very alluring to the intellect of love, okay? There's a lot of lovable traits to this energy, and it's not for everyone to see, and there's a beauty behind that, though, that I don't think you give yourself credit to, that's the timing that ether has as to how valuable you are, and at the same time bullish into not believing also your worth. And that's where some things are just off and need to be a little bit more ironed out, so you have a better understanding to an outline that you must have a security and control over at all times. And however then the pieces will then show up in life, to get then all the pieces of life together will be so much more of an alluring pace that you will create moments of need for yourself. If you need somebody in that moment to help you sort out those pieces, to put them in, to adjust them in a jigsaw puzzle, you know, what is the next mystery piece or not? Can you do it on yourself or with another person? Will you allow another person to be involved in the discovery of who you are? Like that journey, because it's so sacred and authentic and a mesh of rights and wrongs, should only really feel a huge responsibility and accountability towards appeasing to other people when you have your own understanding of your own fucking blueprint. If you don't, shit will fucking not ever make sense. It won't make sense if you don't have 360 of self understood. And the smallest way that you can start doing that is accepting the flesh of the skin that covers everything that you are. All right, Sag. So, do you want to talk about your emotions? No. Would you talk about your emotions? Yes. Oof, I saw that. You know, like that person has. They need to have everything checked off before I get to do that. You know? Yeah, look at that. It was about love this whole entire time. The fishy situation seems to be about the cups of emotions. All right, now. This is a very literal approach. Oh, this is delicious. Sadly delicious, because I feel like this will be the gift that you will not see coming. Because you're too busy running away from something right now. Even if it's running away from yourself, you're like so busy in that this is just like the side dust of dust bunnies, the right dosage that you need to keep just minding your own business and doing what you got to do. This is not divulging too much information. It's not. Y'all been manifesting, desiring, wanting for the longest time, and equal. Yet some of y'all accept the majority of your relationships, the past, or maybe even some of the minor situations that you're in right now. Not diminished emotionally minor, but minor situations as to however many of them are stacking themselves to be. Is not in the alignment in the way that you want it to be. And in that, naturally, you have fantasy of emotions that know how the mind have imagined things, or how everything around you triggers the mind subconsciously. Oh, I can trigger the fuck out of you with endless possibilities of imagination, or not, or whatever, multitude of ways to try to get you, the one I'm trying to trigger within, to decide what you desire. However, if in that moment you're so lost and fragile and you always think that you need somebody else, you'll feel that also subtle sense of responsibility that you're in your own way. And that's what I'm here to also remind you, as this is a non-one-on-one personal reading. that part that you think needs to be validated is already validated. There are levels to that validation via chapters, via stanzas, short sentences, long run-on sentences that determine when the last word for that chapter is done. There's a whole world of individuals that are at all times subconsciously, consciously reacting off of each other. And to be able to create a conscious linear thought that you want this to look exactly the way it needs to in order to come out of that is not realistic. But realistic enough that something can come from affirming that of which it is you truly desire. If you truly love the color purple, but you constantly affirm the color blue out loud, and you're wondering why everything around you is red, who are you going to blame? The people that keep giving you things that are colored red? Or the fact that you need to be a little bit more real, that you keep saying blue, although you really feel purple? And that's where the minor adjustments are going to start occurring. You think it's as small as a fucking color. It is as big as the color. But that of which it is you desire to come in fruition is already out there of the chapter to be written. This story is not yet finished because it's also not yet a story written. You haven't really quite possibly expressed your emotions that need to detox on a cellular level to accept what else that cell can learn after it has gone through detoxification. It's going to ask for something in replace of what it lost. And some of you haven't given yourself the ability to lose something so that it can understand, we just let that go. Well, what else can I ask for? That. You've seen it with people, you've seen it with money come and go. You understand the riches and royalties, the personalities, loud, vivacious, sexiness. Like, you know that you're the magnet of the alchemist in the zodiac, where you're able to transcend in ways of being Sagittarius fire sign. You leave a fairy dust of an imprint in other people's lives in ways that you probably don't know, because it's all major mysteries of the major kind of suggest. But boy, do they feel delicious for other people who didn't know they needed your energy. So shit. And then we have Chaos of the Death and Tower with the Queen of Swords and Page of Wands. We're ending here with the Page of Wands because we have to admit some of the immaturity that comes with the Six of Swords I messaged earlier. Okay? But we're sure as hell not gonna fucking ignore the energy of attraction that attracts this shit. But the shit that separates the distance of however the equal it is you really want to see truly in 3D third dimension in the flesh, all right, is however many toxic you have in your field, okay? But that does not mean that the connection between what is meant and what is already occurred and what is already in holy matrimony doesn't mean it's not there. What is there is another major mystery. Why is there, you're telling me holy matrimony and then we're ending it? Well, what is the end and what is the beginning? If I'm telling you, if you have no physical beginning yet, and you want to believe in that a beginning is to come, I'm telling you right now that the beginning is already begun. And what you think will need to arrive in a timeline and a date that you really want, like, is this person going to come in the 6th of July, 2025 at 3:15 p.m.? Like, if I give you this exact situation, imagine what would happen to the disappointments of the emotions of personal if that weren't to happen. So what is the beginning? What is the end? What is good for you just enough to know, to explain, to give yourself enough freedom to live in that fluidity so that no blockages are in the way? And how come too much information could be too much information, but then you trust gossip of all types of information as the information? So there are contradictions to some of the ways that you maybe accept some of the external forces and how you're going to accept your internal thoughts. And that needs to be cleaned up a little bit. Because if any of that is true, then there's something within you that is coming across as deceptive that is the reason why you may not know why you're in the direction that you're going, with the highest form of intelligence of curiosity to know the fuck why you want or are in that direction, because you want to fucking know. But there are limitless things that the universe is not interested to teach you about at the same time, because at the same time it wants to also make you aware of your power, which is to stay put, watch, and see what unfolds. It's going to not mean you're literally still and not in action. It is going to mean the contradiction. You're going to be out there exposed. But the way you're more or less taking in the message is all of that feeding your intuition, which is locked up in that flesh. All right, we have water, feel, that intuitive, emotional, allowing what can to infect you, but to not be limited with the temporary detoxification that might occur in feeling too much. And we have Taurus, savor, and Libra, balance. So this is very straightforward that there is a level of pride, and it's also coming across here with this Empress energy here, that you should give yourself more credit for that, but in a way that you truly deeply feel that authenticity towards pride and not the ego. Not the ego. You're not really interested in that. In the ego anyway. You know what it takes for the ego to survive the way that it does. You call yourself out on your own bullshit. You really are working on limiting being toxic within other people's life, starting with not wanting to participate in too much toxicity in your own life. However that may mean. Whether that means having a better diet, changing changing your aesthetics in a way of accepting who and what you are, what makes you who you are, that you're beautiful for who you are and how you emanate and how you are perceived by others, because that perception of others doesn't define who you are. Only the value of who you are defines what it is that you do. So many ways. I hate English for all this shit, but alright, anyway. Alright, I'm getting one last card. What is it? We have Leo, creativity. Alright, so really take in the parts of yourself that will help you judge what is to be felt within a reading as such that capitulates itself to being a Justice for Sagittarius reading. Alright? Excuse me. All right. I'm wishing you a wonderful morning, noon, or night, wherever you are in the ether of this time and space. And may you keep flowing, growing, and glowing. Take care.